Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. I want to begin this analysis by asking you one question. How many of you have watched or seen the lifeless body of the young Albert Ojwang who was murdered a day or a few days ago? And if you have watched the body of this young boy, how did you feel? As a father, as a young man, how did you feel? I'm asking this question because if by watching that body you didn't get agitated, you didn't get mad, you didn't get the agitation to ensure that we kick out this government by the year 2027, then something is definitely wrong with you. The story about Albert Ojwang has been shared, has been discussed, has been analyzed in every forum by all the political pundits and commentators. What do we know about Albert Ojwang so far? And we know, number one, that Albert Ojwang was only 31 years old. You can imagine a young man who had just started achieving his dreams at 31 years old. He's gone. Number two, Albert was a Kiswahili and a religious studies teacher, and he was based in Voi, having graduated from the Pwani University. And Albert was the only child of his father and mother, the only child. He was newly married and he was a proud father of a 2.5-year-old child. He had traveled to Migori to visit his family. So the only child in their family who had just started life, he had also begun his family with just one child. So courtesy of some cruel hands of the police, he has lost his life. And so the parents have been left with a young grandchild. Ladies and gentlemen, as people try to discuss this, the biggest question that people are asking, who is the main suspect in the murder of Albert Ojwang? Because I have seen some reports that the Inspector General has suspended some police officers who are on duty at the Central Police Station. That is not the way to go. In this video, ladies and gentlemen, I want to show you that the main suspect, as people have said, is the Deputy Inspector General. And it will shock you that even the police itself has confirmed that the main suspect in the murder of Albert Ojwang is none other than the Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagat. Now, before that, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to give a very quick update and feedback on this young boy here.
Kwa majina ni John Franklin na nasomea Thika High School, na mimi ningependa kuwaomba kama mnaweza msaidia ku raise school fees yangu. Nimefukuzwa toka shuleni for the last 2 weeks, nimekuwa hapa home. Nilikuwa tunaweza nawaomba tu mpali Mungu atawaguza muweze kunisaidia ku raise school fees niweze kurudi shuleni. Mimi mwenyewe natamani kusoma nimalize shule ili niweze saidia watu wengine, nisaidie pia wazazi wangu niweze kuinua. Sana naomba mkinisaidia nitawashukuru sana. Mungu atawabariki.
Amen. Frank is a boy of very few words. Now, the school fees was or is 46,000 Kenya shillings. So yesterday I had pleaded that I get only 20,000 shillings so that we can take it back to school. Hiyo ingine tutatafuta baadaye. Luckily enough, I didn't get 20,000. I got about 17,000 by yesterday. Now, the school administration said that if we could get 30,000 Kenya shillings, that is the minimum they wanted. If we could get 30,000, they would allow the boy back to school. I have 21,000 Kenya shillings with me. The school administration says if we can top up that to 30. So this is the dilemma I am in. There are people who had paid because I said it was urgent. So I have your money here. But we are still at home with the boy. I'm still stranded with the money. I'm just wondering what to do. So kindly, if we could get only 9,000 Kenya shillings. Imagine it is only 9,000 Kenya shillings that is keeping us at home. So if you can give us 9,000 Kenya shillings, tupeleke mtoto shuleni, nitashukuru sana. I'm still pleading. So ladies and gentlemen, kindly listen to the police itself admitting that the main suspect here is the Deputy General, Eliud Lagat.
Let me put it this way. The reasons as to why the late Ojwang was arrested, together with a few others, is because there was a complaint that had been launched by the DIG KPS about his name being tarnished. So it is on that basis that investigations were actually being carried out, because he also have got a right to be protected by the same law. Thank you. The last one.
We have two DIGs. We have Mr. Masengeli and Mr. Lagat. Maybe you can tell us that. Maybe who ordered for this arrest? Then again, what does suspending the officers mean? Because the suspect was said. So if you suspend the officer, what does it mean? Are you confirming or taking responsibility of what you suspend?
No, we have not suspended them. We have interdicted to allow for speedy investigation, to ensure that there is no interference whatsoever with these investigations. That is basically the reason why we have interdicted them, and it is provided for in the regulations.
Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, please like and share our videos. Thank you very much for your support. Ladies and gentlemen, only 3 questions and 3 conclusions I want us to draw out of this. Number 1, the first question that people are asking, if the police, because you've seen the police says that he should also be protected by the same laws that protect the deceased, the boy. Now, if you have to follow the law, the first question that people are asking, why could the deputy IG go and sue Ojwang? He should have run to court and say, this young Kenyan is publishing certain, items that are maligning my name, which are not true. Then they fight it in court, because I think that is why the courts were created. Why take the law into his hand just because he's the deputy IG? Because the police has said it, not me, that he was arrested after the IG complained. Now look at it this way: the deputy IG complained to who? Is there any court of law that issued a warrant of arrest? If the police says that the deputy IG complained to who? He's the boss. He's the second in command, Yena Masengeli. So who was this, complaining to? That is number 1. Number 2, I understand that they're saying that there are some police officers who have been not even suspended but interdicted to pave way for investigation without interference. Now, they themselves say and admit that the main person who was complaining, the main person who even sent the other police to arrest this boy, is Eliud Lagat. Why hasn't he been suspended or interdicted? Because you all know that mkubwa ndiye anapeana orders. So you go out and you start suspending, those are sacrificial lambs. He's still there. So if you say that you are interdicting the other, smaller fishes not to interfere with the investigation, the big fish is now here. Are you telling me that there is going to be credible investigation? The other question that people are asking, were there not any police station around Homa Bay or in the entire Nyanza? Why drive him all the way to Central Police Station? Why? Is that the only place where investigation can take place? Now, I want to give you 3 conclusions because this is very sad. We are living with a very rogue regime. I want to give you only 3 conclusions. Number 1, there is going to be trouble ahead of the budget reading and ahead of 2027. This government is not going to listen any dissenting views, any critic, anyone who does not read from the same script as they. They are going to silence any voices that are going to question them. And Boniface Mwangi and Babu Owino are now saying that it is not only the deputy IG, but William Ruto himself as the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces.
Eliud Lagat, who is a deputy inspector general of police, you take an opportunity to go all the way to Homa Bay, arrest an individual, arrest Albert, move all the way back to Nairobi, noting that there are so many police stations within Homa Bay County. You bypassed all those police stations, came back to Nairobi, took an innocent young man from the dad with an intention to kill, premeditated the death of one Albert Ojwang. Reaching Central Police Station, you tell us stories which we only hear in movies that Albert Ojwang hit his head severely on the on the wall. Does not add up. It's so sad. And what a time to live in this country, Mr. President, under your watch. You need to take time and reflect. You need to sit alone for a whole day. Reflect how you were brought up. Reflect how your mom brought you up. As you always say, that you were brought up from a very humble background.
So that only tells you that there's going to be trouble ahead. If this can happen under our very own under our very watch, the only child of his parents taken away as they see in front of in fact alichukuliwa wakiona alafu anaenda hivyo. Trouble is looming ahead. Number 2, there is a new norm, modus operandi, that is taking place in East Africa. It is happening in Uganda, it is happening in Tanzania, happening in Kenya. I think even Congo and Rwanda, it is the same, where no one is listening to the people that criticize the government. I saw a post that was very, very funny, that in Uganda, the opposition leader is in cell. In Tanzania, the opposition leader is in cell. I think Uganda, they're talking of Besigye, Kizza Besigye, then Tundu Lissu in Tanzania, and they're saying that in Kenya, the opposition leader is dining at the high table with the government. Actually, the opposition is the government. And they're asking, what kind of magic is this? So there is this modus operandi in the whole of Africa, but the one that there's an emergence of this kind of brutality in East Africa, where people are just being tortured, people are being apprehended anyhowly, they are being killed, and they have formed a ring where they are even friends. Scratch my back, I scratch your back. That is why Kizza Besigye that we are talking about was abducted from our own soil. It was taken back. When some Kenyans went to Tanzania to try and stand in solidarity with their peers there, they were tortured. People like Boniface Mwangi. So it is happening in East Africa, and it should be checked. Who should check it for us? And I want to go to the last point. We thought that after the America warned East Africa, remember after people like Boniface Mwangi were tortured, we thought that maybe this government would change. It has not changed. In fact, after the torture of Boniface Mwangi, after the killing of Jesus and all that, now another young man dies in a police cell. And they're not ashamed even to tell us that alijigonga kwa wall. You know, lies, hata kudanganya sometimes inataka ujanja. But sometimes ujanja inafika, what do you tell people in cell? Afadhali hata wangejifanya tu walimpata amekufa. Now wanasema tu jamaa alijigonga kwa wall. How? So ladies and gentlemen, the main suspect here, you've heard it from the horse's mouth. The police says ule ambaye alikuwa na complain, the complainant was Eliud Lagat. He's the main suspect. He still remains large in the office as other small fishes are suspended. There isn't going to be any justice. It is sad that we are living with this rogue regime. If you are not getting agitated, if you don't feel like we have unfinished business with this government that we need to, complete by 2027, then I don't know. Wale ambao wanatuambia William Ruto needs time to fix the economy. So how long do we need to give William Ruto? How much time do we need to give William Ruto so that he can finish extrajudicial killing in the country? Just how long? And if this goes to the members of the broad-based government, just tell me just how long. And that is my take.